everyone, to the December 19th regular Board of Commissioners meeting here at City Hall. This time I would ask City Clerk Beth Cecil to please call the roll.
Commissioner Jay Vallata.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Conder.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bob Glenn.
Here.
Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Here.
Thank you, Beth. This time we will call on Commissioner Larry Conder for the invocation and the pledge. Stand.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Please pray with me, silent meditation if you prefer, as we go about our city's business. Oh Lord, we pray for our loved ones here and near and far away, and everyone for whom we also pray. Keep us safe each night and each and every day. The homeless who have no place and those who are suffering in any way. The dying, those mourning or grieving, and all who needs God's mercy. Keep us safe, Heavenly Father, when we are at home, when we're traveling, or when we are vulnerable or in danger in any way. Dear Lord, I ask blessings on our nation, on our city, on our staff, and those who protect us all. Most importantly and finally, dear Lord, I ask you to do this. Place blessings on our Mayor Tom Watson, Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright, Bob Glenn, and Jay Vallata, that we, not only today, but this next year, do all that is good and that is right in our minds and our hearts. I ask this in your name, our Lord Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Now the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Conder. Item number 4 on the agenda is of the OMU Lighting Contest Award. Each year, OMU and the City of Owensboro host a lighting contest. Nominations are made by customers by calling OMU or the City Action Line or entering them online at omu.org. This year, 14 homes were included in the judging. Tonight, the 2017 winners are Vicky and Saul Espinal. Probably messed that up. They live at 1316 Allen Street. Their home features 3 layers of lights and multiple trees. Congratulations to them. The winner not only receives bragging rights, but also a lighted sign for their yard announcing them as a winner, a $250 OMU gift certificate, and professional photos of their home. So, are you showing the home? Yeah, good. But this time, is Vicky and Saul here? All right. Anybody else want this award? No, that's not it. Okay. Well, thank you, Vicky and Saul. We appreciate you, and we'll get. I imagine somebody from OMU will be contacting you to take care of your award winnings. This time, we'd like to talk about the Cap Gardner Award. The Cap Gardner Award is it's basically the Employee of the Year Award presentation. Casper Gardner was mayor of Owensboro from 1954 to 1958. He was a United States Navy World War II veteran, dedicated public employee, community figure, and loving family man. The Cap Gardner Award was initiated in 2007 to honor an exemplary City of Owensboro employee. This is the 9th consecutive year that we will honor a city employee with this distinction. Every year, our committee, comprised of Mrs. Gail Gardner, did Ms. Gardner make it? Okay. What a lovely lady. I miss her not being here. A member of the Neighborhood Alliances and a member of the Rotary Club received nominations for deserving employees, and this year was not an exception. Along with an award to keep with them, the recipient will have her name placed on a permanent memorial in Cap Gardner Park located at 20th and J.R. Miller Boulevard. Here's an excerpt from the winner's nomination form. The nominee is well deserving of the Cap Gardner Award in consideration of her outstanding service to the city. She works with a positive can-do attitude and at all times and is always happy to assist any way she can. This past year, she organized a community tree planting event to support the MS4 program. The event was a huge success. With all activities, she works with a polite, positive, and cordial demeanor, even when dealing with difficult situations. She is one of the most efficient and effective employees at the City of Owensboro and deserving of this award. She didn't win this award, she earned it. That's the way I look at it. The City of Owensboro is proud to have you as an employee. Congratulations, Bailey Bennett. You what? I'm talking about. How you doing? Good. Cap Gardner Employee Award 2017. Congratulations. Okay, so now we get a squeeze together and you must get all over this picture. All right, great. You're welcome to state your name and address.
So again, I'm surprised. I did not know this until just now. Thank you. I couldn't do anything I do without my department and all the departments at the city. It's a joint effort for all of us, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Outstanding. More good news. The introduction of the Kentucky Thoroughbreds basketball team. All right. What's the matter, Ed? Your foot hurting?
I'm good.
Okay, at this time, we'd like for the Kentucky Thoroughbreds coach / general manager, Coach Brandon. Brandon, help me.
Lashowski.
Huh?
Lashowski.
Anybody want to take a shot at that?
The V silent.
The what now?
The V is silent.
Well, they didn't even spell it right. No wonder I can't. No wonder I can't say it. Coach, you got the mic. Please state your name and address for the record.
Well, I'm Brandon Lashowski. I live at 3500 Placid Place here in Owensboro. And I've been to town for 2 weeks now as we've been getting ready to start our season. And the first thing that sticks out to me is how vibrant and active everybody is here. I went to the Rooster Booster like the third day I was here, and I couldn't believe everybody. There was nowhere to park, and I was 15 minutes early.
Don't talk about the parking downtown. That is all good.
It was amazing, and that gets us really excited about being here and really being a part of this thing and being a part of the community. If anybody is involved in nonprofits or something that helps with kids, we would love to hear from you and try to help you in any way that we can, especially around the Christmas season, of course, but then anytime. And with some of our partnerships with where we're practicing at the YMCA, we've already committed to some camps, and we would love to be able to help in any way that we can. I do have a player here that some of you Big Blue Nation might recognize, as he played at the University of Kentucky for a couple years. He played in Canada last year, and I coached against him and got tired of him whipping our tails. So I tried to, if you can't beat him, join him, sort of thing. So I'd like to introduce A.J. Stewart and let him say a couple words, and then we'll get out of here.
All right. Go, A.J.
Where
do you get your clothes anyway?
Big and tall.
Big and tall. I got
Yes,
the
sir.
big down, you got the tall.
Thanks. Sorry, I gotta adjust this thing. I'm AJ Stewart, like Coach mentioned. I did spend a little time at the University of Kentucky playing basketball, and I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida. They don't really care too much about basketball up here, but or down there, but up here, you know, I mean, it goes without being said, there's a passion here. You know, the fans, the people, they just love basketball in general. So when Coach gave me a call, it was a no-brainer, you know, to come back and be able to play in Kentucky again. So I'm very excited, and hope you guys are too.
And thank you, AJ.
Then I know we have a couple of our logos up there that were one that I think a lot of people may have seen. This one right here with the thoroughbred. Our colors are blue and gold, and then one that we really haven't unveiled yet that's going to be part of our home uniform is the blue bridge with our uniform. It says
Look out.
the Boro, and so the white ones will be our home uniforms with the blue bridge, and then some of our practice gear and other things will utilize that as well. We're really excited about that design, and I hope to have some T-shirts and stuff for sale, and we're really looking forward to it. Our first home game's January 12th, and look forward to seeing you guys out there cheering us on.
And you'll be playing where?
At the Sports Center.
And what time is the game?
Most during the week and on Friday nights are at 7. We do have a few 4 o'clock on Saturday. I think there's one game on Sunday that'll be a 2 o'clock start time.
Well, I went over there to watch them the other morning at 5 o'clock. And how many young men do you have there?
We had 22 the first day.
First day.
Yeah, and we've been kind of slowly dwindling that down. We have 19 right now.
And your final number will be?
Our final number will be right around 11 to 12. And so we've still got some work to do before the end of the week, and then we'll break for Christmas for a couple days and then start getting ready for games.
Welcome to our community. We're glad to have you, and we recommend that everybody come out open tonight for sure to cheer you on. I got a 6th grade basketball player in my family. He's crazy about this stuff.
Bring him on.
Bring him on.
We'd love to have him. And, you know, I think the YMCA wasn't real crazy when I said that our practices were open to the public. But we are setting a few days up to welcome people to come in and to watch us practice and meet the guys and do things like that before our season starts. And I think they're really a group of guys that everybody's going to be enjoy seeing out in the community and on the court both.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And y'all can stay for the rest of the meeting. It's like 2 more hours if you want. No?
AJ's got to go.
AJ's got to go. And you're his driver. I got you. Okay, item number 4D, audit report. Mike Neal, Myriad CPA. Jackie, you gonna let him take this all by himself? All right.
Thank you all very much, Mayor and the Commission. You have before you the audit report, and it's quite in-depth. I could go through this from cover to cover, and we'd still be here this time tomorrow.
Mike, you better tell us your name and address, because
Oh.
if we're not happy with this audit, we want to know how to get a hold of you.
Oh, okay. Mac Neal, address 1735 Frederick Street, Owensboro, Kentucky.
All right. Thank you.
Let me see if I can remember how to operate this. There we go. Just to give you some background, what we have to do, we have to look at risk and assess risk as part of the audit process before we start. And you can substitute business. We have to audit the city, not just the books. We look at what's happening out in the economy, how it could impact the city, how federal and state regulations could impact the city, and we incorporate all of that into our audit plan when we develop our approach to the audit. Secondarily, we could do a continuum of the risk assessment process. We look at the control environment, the control activities, which are the policies and procedures you have within the city of Owensboro, and additionally, we look at the quality of the financial information that you all get as elected officials monthly and evaluate it. But the big part of this whole process is monitoring. If there's no monitoring, you can't have effective control. So we evaluate how well management and the commission monitor the financial activities of the city as a whole. And that's a continuous process. Some financial highlights I'll go through. This is will be the 36th year the city has received the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting. And as Angela knows, that's quite a rigorous process. They put you under a microscope, and it's very prestigious for us in the financial world when someone receives that. And also, this is the 17th year the Distinguished Budget Presentation has been awarded to the city. And again, that's as rigorous as the financial side of things on the audit report. This slide corresponds with page 4, but as you can see, the assets and deferred outflows exceed for the governmental activities exceed the liabilities and deferred inflows by 75.9 million. That's down about 5.4 million from the previous year, and that's primarily a function of depreciation of assets and the increase in certain expenses. And this is what's called GASB 34. It's very convoluted, and it groups everything together. The idea behind this, when it came out by the powers to be, was to make this understandable for the average citizen. So anyway, I won't editorialize, but basically the city's in sound financial condition when you look at the quote net worth or net position of the city. When you look at it in total, you have a 91.2 million in net position when you include the business type activities. And as you can see, looking at this page, the city's a very large operation when you incorporate the Riverport and OMU. The business type activities, I'm getting old, I can't see the screen very well. Follow my slide here. There we go. The business type activities had total assets of 23.5 million, liabilities of 8.3 million for a net position or net worth of 15.2 million. That's very solid. And the overall net position in your business type activities for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2017 increased by 1.5 million. The other governmental fund types, these are the funds you provide services to the citizens of Owensboro out of. The city's governmental funds ended with a combined ending fund balance of 46.5 million. The unassigned general fund balance was 6.9 million, which represents 53 days expenditures, and the total fund balance was 8.9 million, which it represents 68 days expenditures in reserve. The community vision fund balance, it decreased from about 426,000 to 8.9. The community vision fund balance, or excuse me, that's a general fund balance, decreased 426,000 to 8.9. Your community vision fund balance decreased 590,000 to 4.5 million.
I think it's increased. Right?
Or increased, I'm sorry. And the downtown revitalization fund decreased 404,000 to 3.4 million. And the capital improvement fund, which you fund your capital improvements, it increased 11.7 million from 11.7 million to 27 million due to borrowings for the garage and the transportation projects. And the big thing that's been discussed, I know as you all as elected officials and across the state, is the unfunded liability for the CERS. As we all know, the cost of that is going to go up to all municipalities and participants. It increased from 52.7 million to 60.9 million, or went up 8.2 million. And that's been from other audits that we do that participate in the CERS. That trend has been very consistent the last 2 years. Some graphs I'd like to go over. The general fund balance trend, if you can look at it, If you go back to 2013, it was 14.6 million. Today, at 2007, June 30th, 2017, it is 8.9 million. And GFOA, or the Government Finance Officers Association, recommends 60 days in reserves of unassigned fund balance. And you can see the next slide, which shows you the days. You had 126 days in fund balance, 2013, and it's decreased from 126 to 68 days fund balance in reserve. And that's cutting it pretty close. There's a rule of thumb. Some municipalities recommend 90 days. GFOA recommends 60 days. But that's one of the key factors when Moody's or another credit rating service looks at your city and evaluates it. They look at your general fund balance. Is it increasing or decreasing? Are there any questions at this point?
Yes, Commissioner, you got any questions? Commissioner Condor?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Could you back up a couple of slides, please, to the pension liability?
Yes, sir.
At the bottom, when you're stating 52.7 for calendar or fiscal year 2016, going up to 60.9.
That's correct.
And is that in aggregate of all city entities?
That's all city. That's the
OMU.
No, that does not include OMU.
What does that
OMU,
include?
if you included that, I believe those figures are on page 4. Are your component units in aggregate? There are 41 million. So basically, you're looking at about 101, 102 million total unfunded liability for the city collectively.
Anything else, Commissioner Condon?
No, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Anybody else?
We do have a recommendation.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Pam Smith Wright has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You said that Moody's wants us to have at least 60 days?
No, not Moody's, the General Government Finance
Okay,
Officers Association.
I'm sorry, yes.
But one of the things Moody's does look at when they evaluate a municipality is the reserves that you maintain in your general fund.
Okay, but we have 68 days.
That's correct,
Okay.
As of
June 30th.
okay.
Okay. And we do have a recommendation that kind of relates to that, dovetails back into this, what we discussed with Bill and Angela. And the Government's Finance Officers Association recommends they have certain guidelines about fund balance and having a policy. And we've recommended that the city and the commission consider the development and implementation of a fund balance policy that addresses first, the purpose for maintaining a healthy fund balance, and secondarily specifying the minimum level of unrestricted fund balance to be maintained, whether that be in days or in dollars or however you wish to quantify that. Many municipalities have such a policy in place, and I believe Angela's started working on one. Lastly, we're required to report if we had any findings to those charged with governance, which is you as the elected officials, if we had any significant audit findings. We had none. If we had any difficulties performing the audit, we had none. Had we disagreements with management, we'd be required to discuss that with you all, and we had none. Management representations relate to Bill and Angela sign what's called a client representation letter that they responded to truthfully, to the best of their knowledge and belief, to all of our inquiries. And had we consulted with other accountants, we'd be required to report that, and we did not. And if there were any other audit findings, and there were none. I would like to say that Angela and Danae do a very good job. I don't know how they do what they do with just 2 of them. And I appreciate you all putting up with the demands, Angela, because I know we're pretty demanding when we're here, and necessary distraction, but they do an excellent job.
Does it take 6 months to do this?
We do the preliminary mayor, and we come in and test controls in the summer, and then when the books are closed, we come in about early October, and it takes about probably 6 to 8 weeks to do the field work and the report. it's a pretty large operation.
Commissioner Condon?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Neal, it's my understanding that you're a certified fraud auditor?
Yes, and so is my associate, Mr. Somerville.
Both of you are. So within your scope of work, were there any type of engagement for you to be able to investigate anything like that?
Oh, do you mean here or anywhere?
Yes.
No.
Yes, sir.
The
No,
controls here are very effective.
Very good. It is astounding, truly is astounding. And how many other cities do you perform audits for?
Approximately 5, and then we do a lot of other governmental entities. We have a huge governmental practice.
And of those 5, how many of them do you give comments or concerns or?
All but 2.
All but 2. So the city of Owensboro is one
That's
of
one,
the
and
perfect,
and the city of Henderson's another.
perfect audits, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome. Anybody else?
Quick question.
Commissioner Glenn?
Mr. Neal, on page 28, this is more for the public's benefit, we've got deposits and investments. And you kind of, we're talking about we've got a limited amount of money in surplus. These are obviously not just financial, but the value of property and all that. So give us a picture of where we're at there. That
Well,
looks like a
right-
positive area, but is it?
Well, it's positive, but these represent all your funds in aggregate,
Think
your
everything
business
went
type activities. It's just not all general fund. I believe the general fund in which you provide the majority of the services too, if I could look at that, comprises, I believe, it's about right at 9 points. Excuse me, that's a sanitation fund. This is a lengthy report. The general fund has about 11.4 million of that. And some of that money, most of that in the capital improvements funds, about 26.9 million of that is restricted for capital improvements.
We're not allowed to just spend it. I'm just seeing somebody flip through this and think, well, they got $80 million in value. What's their problem? Which isn't the case.
And a lot of that's explained as you go through the report from the beginning to the end, and you read the footnotes. And as I said, we could still be here tomorrow if we took that route.
And the last question I've got is, you've got a lot of the reports split up into 3 areas: the city, OMU, and the Riverport.
Correct.
So how do you, when you're trying to create a picture, when you're reading the picture, reading the tea leaves in this document, what percentage of the, what I'm trying to say is, are those separated out, or are they all aggregate?
Yes, they
the
are. They
numbers
are
aggregate?
separated out.
Because they look separated out in certain sections of the
They
document.
are back in, you can find the detail for the Riverport and OMU. Let's see. I believe on pages 15 and 16.
Yeah, the early part of it.
And you can see how, and they flow through, and then on page 4, your government-wide financial statements shows you the city as well as the Riverport and OMU combined. So if you combine those, you can see the city's a very large operation.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Mr. Neal, I promise you we'll take your recommendation on the fund balance deal. Well, we certainly will do that. Is that what it was?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Got anything else, sir?
No, if any of you all have any questions, I know there's a lot of information. We're just right up the street or a phone call away. Just feel free to call us.
And
Thank you.
it cost us about $45,000 for this audit. Is that
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. Thank you. All right, this time I'll entertain a motion to accept the audit.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? Any from the public? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, item number 5A. Consider the minutes, approval of the minutes dated December the 5th, 2017. Could I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 5B, we'll consider these board appointments, and I will make, unless you have, anybody has a problem, I'm going to go through all of them at one time, and we'll just vote. once, if that's all right with everybody. Consider Grad Regional Transportation Committee, reappoint Kevin Culligan to a one-year term expiring December 31st, 2018. Consider Owensboro Human Relations Commission, reappoint Joanne Kendall and Samuel Tandy to a three-year term expiring December 31st, 2020. Appoint Trenton Hagan and Megan Hagan to a three-year term expiring December 31st, 2020. Consider appointments for Owensboro Metropolitan Planning Commission. Reappoint Larry Moore to a four-year term expiring December 31st, 2021, and appoint Mike Edge to a four-year term expiring December 31st, 2021. Please consider the appointments to the Owensboro Metropolitan Planning Commission Board of Adjustments. Ask that you reappoint Fred Reeves to a four-year term expiring December 31st, 2021. Please consider Police and Firefighters Retirement Fund Board. Ratify the election of Bobby Blanford and Lord Nash to a one-year term expiring December 31st, 2018. I'll make a motion to approve, please.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5C is to consider board appointment to Greater Owensboro Chamber of Commerce. I would like to appoint Jay Villada to a one-year term expiring December 31st, 2018. He will be replacing Commissioner Bob Glenn, who's been on the Chamber Board for 2 years, Bob?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All in favor, could I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Recuse.
Note that Jay Villada has recused himself. Trying to say you don't want to serve? Okay. All in okay. All in did we already vote? Okay. No, we didn't, did we? We did. We did? Okay. Y'all killing me. Consider board appointment of the City Employees Pension Board. Reappoint Larry Condor to a four-year term expiring December 31st, 2020. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion, please? 2021, what did I say? It's just hard to think about 20 and 21. Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item number
Recuse, please. Thank you.
That's City Clerk. Good job. Item number 6, ordinance, second reading. Mr. Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 34-2017 is an ordinance amending Chapter 3, Article 1, Section 3-8 of the Owensboro Municipal Code to expand the sale of alcoholic beverages on Sundays until 2 a.m. the following day in years in which New Year's Eve falls on a Sunday. Publicly read for approval on second reading December 19, 2017.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Talked about this last time, didn't we? Okay, hearing none, we will have a roll call vote, please. City Clerk Beth Cecil.
Commissioner Villada,
Yes.
Commissioner Condor,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Smithwright.
Aye.
Okay. Item number 7, ordinance, first reading. Mr. Ray.
Ordinance 35-2017 is an ordinance repealing in its entirety Section 2-155 of the Owensboro Municipal Code, requiring an annual meeting of the Board of Commissioners, City Manager, City Finance Officer, and City Attorney for contract review. Introduced and publicly read on first reading December 19, 2017.
Okay, thank you, sir. No vote on the first reading. Item number 7B.
Ordinance 36-2017 is an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018, and amending Ordinance 9-2017 to receive Homeland Security Grant awards and provide for respective expenditures, and to provide for bond anticipation note, $2 million redemption. Introduced and publicly read on first reading December 19th, 2017.
Thank you, sir. Item number 8, municipal orders.
Municipal Order 32-2017 is a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for the Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response, or SAFER grant, the proceeds of which will be utilized by the City of Owensboro Fire Department to increase or maintain trained frontline firefighters to comply with standards established in National Fire Protection Association Standard 1710. A match based upon an amount equal of grant funds awarded will be required of the city. Introduced and publicly read for approval on one reading, December 19th, 2017.
Thank you, sir. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
At this time, I'd like to have some discussion. City Manager, could you explain what our match is and all that kind of stuff that goes with this?
Yes, Mayor. The is established in the 17-18 budget briefs. The commission decided there was a need for an additional ladder truck and 6 firefighters because of growth in city, particularly on the east side. Chief Mitchell has identified a grant to assist in paying those personnel costs for 3 years. That grant requires a city match, and over the 3-year period, that will save us $705,090.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Chief, you have anything to add? Okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Item number 9C, City Manager item.
No,
No,
you're correct, Mayor.
That's right.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd ask that you recognize Ms. Hamrick for the financial report.
Ms. Hamrick for the financial report, please.
Yes, Mayor Commission. The financial report for the month ended October 31st, 2017. Our general fund revenues through October of $17,687,764 were $163,618 over budget, mostly due to the insurance premium license fee collections and our in lieu of taxes revenue. This is partially offset by lower occupational tax withholdings. Our general fund expenditures of $16,597,850 were $1,339,488 under budget, primarily due to savings in personnel, in timing, in maintenance, and supplies. The revenues and expenditures and other funds are in line with budget, with the following exceptions. The sanitation fund is under budget in capital outlay expenditures, and this is just due to timing. The transit fund is under budget in revenues and federal and state grant revenues, and this is also due to timing. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer.
Question from the commission? Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Ms. Hamrick, you note the personnel savings.
Yes.
Could you explain a little bit of what's that due to? What are those savings due to, please?
Certainly. Our year-to-date variance, the actual amount is $410,316 is the amount that we're under budget year-to-date. That's primarily due to vacancies that we have throughout the city. And what I mean by that is when a person leaves, there's a vacancy, there's no one in that spot for a period of time. And often the new hire comes in at a lower rate. So that's where we come into our savings. That's the primary reason.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
If there's no questions, Mayor, we can do the bar graph that we speak to at each meeting.
Sure. Great.
Beth, if you'll pull that up, please. And this is the bar graph that we've been presenting each month with our monthly financials. And I'll go over what each bar is. The green bar is, it represents revenues. Had we not increased our revenue expense, our revenue rates, this is where we would be. We would be at $16,099,553 in revenues, and this is through October. So it's July through October. However, due to increase in our occupational and net profit rate and our property tax, the blue bar represents those increases, and we are at $17,687,764. Our expenses year-to-date are $16,597,850. So if you look at the language or narrative there at the bottom, at the old rate, had we not done our increases, we would be seeing a year-to-date deficit of just under $500,000. But due to the increases in our rates, We actually have a surplus of $1,089,914. And I would like to caution the viewing audience, we will not have this disparity in the revenues and expenditures every month. As I'd said before, November and December are the big months in revenues for property tax revenue. So when I present the November and December revenue or monthly financials, you'll see those revenues be much higher than the expenses. And April also is another month where we'll see. So our expenses and our revenues are kind of cyclical, if you will. Our expenditures will be higher in the warmer months as well due to construction and street work. So not to be alarmed by any fluctuations you see in the monthly financials. It's the end of the year that is really a true story. If anyone has any questions on that, I'm happy to try and answer.
So is it too simplistic to say we took in $5, we spent $4, we got $1 left? Is that too simplistic to do something like that?
No.
I'm just curious. I mean, as people have asked me, they said, Angela's got such a grasp, Ms. Hamrick's got such a grasp of this, and this stuff just rolls off her tongue. And, could they just say, this is how much we took in, this is how much we spent, this is what we have left? So I'm sure it says something like that somewhere, but in this graph, City Manager?
Well, I was just going to say, Mayor, that real comparison is the green bar at the old rate, the blue bar at the new rate, and the red bar is expenditures. So if you look at the new rate, we took in, you could say, $17.68, and we spent $16.59. So I think you've made you've hit the nail on the head with that analysis.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? You got one question or two?
I might have two.
Okay, let them go. Two questions. Bobby?
Ms. Hamrick, question, our property tax collection rate, if I read it correctly, is 99%. Is that accurate? I think there was an article in the paper about that.
Historically, yes. If you look at the statistical section in our audit, there's a schedule back there that shows our collection rate for the past 10 years, and it's been 99 point something every year. Yes, that's correct.
Now, the follow-up is, how does that compare? Is that pretty standard for most cities, or are we doing a better job than most in collecting our property tax rates?
I would like to think we do as well or better than other cities. Yeah, that's nearly 100%. So.
Yeah, I think it's
hard to beat.
outstanding. That's why I think it's something to be proud of. Plus, it's something that's essential to the operation of city government. So you're to be commended, and so is your staff. Thank you.
The staff, yeah.
On the collection side, is it correct that we collect the county's occupational license fee as well?
Yes, Mayor. Yeah, we're quite busy in finance. We do collect the occupational as well as the net profit for fiscal court, and we also collect the property tax for the Owensboro public school system.
And our stipend for that is?
We charge the schools 1.5% of their total collections, and for fiscal court.
That's okay.
I can look it up.
I didn't give you a heads up. I apologize for that.
It's right here if you want me to look it up. But anyway, it's
Is it worthwhile to do these things? With the short staff that we have, that's what I'm kind of digging around about.
Yes. Well, for the school system, it really doesn't require extra staff per se, because it's all on the same bill. Unless there's issues per se, and then breaking it out. Of course, Danae, she does the detail work on that as far as breaking that out and forwarding their funds to them. There is extra time included on the property tax. On the occupational net profit, we increase our charges to them every year, commensurate with where we see our personal costs increase. And initially there was a study done back prior to my time, how much time was estimated and that it would take to do these collections for them. So that rate was set at that point in time. And like I said, we increase what we charge them every year, commensurate based on how much our personal costs go up. So I do think, yes, it's.
I think it's worthwhile.
I think it's good for both sides because fiscal court doesn't have to have the overhead. They don't have to have the extra schooling, training. We have that all in our shop. And so, but then at the same time, they assist us in that cost. So I think it's good for both jurisdictions.
So we're being good neighbors.
I think so.
Okay. And Danae does do a lot of this stuff because I've never left this place that she ain't still working.
She does a lot of this stuff, yeah, she
I'm
does.
scared for her to walk out there. It's dark. Okay, any other discussion, please? I will make a motion to file for audit. Please, could I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Hamrick. Very informative.
You're welcome, Mayor.
Appreciate you. Item number 9B, City Manager's comments.
Just one item, Mayor, Commissioners, just to report that the Sanitation Department is about to conclude its second pass of leaf collection sometime right after Christmas, probably the 27th or 28th. They'll complete that, and the only reason I mention that is if we have a frost, a heavy snow, an ice, it's extremely difficult to get your leaves collected. So not only is it good for a citizen with leaves in their yard to rake them as early as possible to get our sanitation crews on it, it's good for the city to keep our labor costs down so we can shed temporary personnel and get back to the business of normal sanitation operations.
What do we do with the leaves?
Those, Mayor, are taken to the landfill. Again, a partnership with the county. The county uses them to create compost that they sell, and there's great demand for that compost. It's good quality, so much demand, the county will frequently call us back and ask for more. Can we bring more leaves?
So no tipping charge or anything?
No, there's a tipping charge for us, but the tipping charge for leaves is less than it is for other items.
So we're sending them something and they're making money off it, but they're charging us to bring it to them.
That's correct, Mayor.
Okay. Any other comments, sir?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Oh, I thought that was mine. All right, item number 10, communication from elected officials. Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have is I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday, and I appreciate being here for you, and I want you to know that this commission is working hard for this community. So thank you very much and have a wonderful holiday.
I would echo Commissioner Smith-Wright's comments, wishing each and every person here a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I also want to extend that not only to the commission, but all our city staff and all our public employees. Had occasion to go to their event the other day, and you know, if I didn't do my job, nobody might notice. But if sanitation doesn't do theirs, you're going to notice it really quick, along with our police officers, our firefighters, our first responders, all of our public works folks, our parks department, our staff here at City Hall. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we very much value what you do throughout the year. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Just to echo what the commissioners have said, and wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Thanks for a fantastic year. It's been a quick year, and getting ready to start another one real soon. Merry Christmas to everybody out there and the citizens. Thank you for all your input through the year. Thank you, staff, for all your hard work. And I'm just thrilled to be here. Looking forward to another year. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Had a quick discussion before the commission meeting tonight, talking to Chief of Police Art Elam about some of our young constituents, especially a couple of my grandchildren that actually called me and wanted to know if it was true that this dude was threatening to steal Christmas. I was assured by the Chief of Police that they're on it. So I want to make sure, especially our young people, understand that that guy that's maybe threatening to do that's not going to happen in the city of Owensboro. But Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. Blessings, God's blessings on everyone each and every day. The ones that you have family or not, hug those the ones you love, and even try to hug the ones you don't. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. I'm not going to echo what they said because I'm just going to tell you Merry Christmas and God bless. Item number 11, open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of public concern that was not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of this commission. City Commission meetings are held to conduct city business for the benefit of Owensboro citizens and taxpayers. At this time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission, please make their way to the podium to be recognized Speakers must state their name and address for the clerk's record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from city staff or the commission, and the mayor reserves the right to extend the time to the speaker. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
My name is Mary Cupp. I live at 1309 Allen Street in the old Owensboro neighborhood. I live across the street from the people who won the lighting contest tonight, and I get to enjoy it every night. So
They keep you up?
Yes, I appreciate it. Also, I was very pleased to be here tonight to hear the auditor's report. It just reinforces what I have come to know myself from observing this commission as an adult. I grew up in Owensboro, didn't think too much about how the city was run, but lived away during my college and professional life. I observed cities and how they were run, and coming back to Owensboro, I've always been impressed with the quality of our leadership, and I want to thank you for that. I am here tonight both to represent myself, citizens of the community, and speak for the Pennyroyal group of the Sierra Club. As all of you probably know, I've met with many of you separately. We are really, really concerned that Owensboro continue to move forward, be progressive in all ways that we do. You're doing it with city government, with the way you're developing our community, which is really admirable. And we are interested in our Owensboro municipal utility also moving forward in a positive way for our community, and we think that's being done. As all of you know, about this time last year, OMU issued their integrated resource plan. All of you saw it, you were aware of it. You knew their recommendations, first of all, to quit using coal-fired plants, the Elmer Smith plants, and we applaud that. It's something that's very important to us economically and for our health's sake. Also, they're looking now and have in the last year been working toward how to go forward. All of you are aware they made, Mr. Nolte made a presentation on their recommendations, at first to go to the Henderson plant. That has been rejected by the OMU board, and now they're really in the throes of making those final decisions. Following that report, there was a Burns and McDonnell report that reviewed their integrated resource plan and gave it good marks. The main thing they pointed out was that really there was nothing in the integrated resource plan for renewable energy, and that they should be looking at that as very economically feasible. But at the same time that Burns and McDonnell did that report, OMU is conducting their own evaluation of renewable energy, and probably all of you have read this report. And what they conclude, they looked at 3 different levels, and they concluded that just with a 10 megawatt array, solar array, it was economically feasible and would be beneficial in the future to incorporate that. However, as far as we know, we have heard nothing about a direct effort to incorporate renewable energy into their portfolio. So we understand that base load requires a reliable source at all times, but there's also a lot of benefit from using renewable, especially at peak times when the sun's really bright and the peak usage here in Owensboro. So why I am here is to encourage you as the leaders of the city, the elected leaders, to make, pay attention to this issue and encourage them to do a really good job for all of us by incorporating renewable energy to their fullest capability. Whether they may purchase it outside, but they could build it themselves, because all of you know we've had this municipal utility since the late 1800s when Owensboro was so wise to form it. And so we like having a source of energy ourselves. We could build renewable solar arrays that would be very important to supplying energy to the residents of Owensboro. And we hope that all of you will be positive in encouraging them to consider it very seriously. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your knowledge and breadth of the topic, and appreciate you presenting it in a way that was compatible to what we like to hear from our public. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Hello.
I'm here supporting the Sierra
Name
Club.
and address for the
Yes.
record, please.
Hi, my name is May Hagan. Was just appointed to the HRC. My address is
Well,
20.
thank you for serving, by the way.
It's my honor. My address is 2610 West 6th Street, Owensboro, Kentucky. I am coming here with a question of whether or not we have the resources to possibly expand our bike lane in Owensboro. I feel as if we could benefit from having a few more. And I also have another item that I would like to ask you a question about.
Go ahead.
In other cities, we're seeing other bigger cities that are growing like ours that are they're growing fruit trees in public places such as Smothers Park, and what they're doing is for the homeless people in the community, they're able to pick from the fruit tree, and that way, you know, there's never any. Sorry, just getting a little nervous.
Nah, just relax. You're doing fine.
I was just hoping that we could possibly look into this. It's really benefiting other cities that have an issue with homelessness, which we're seeing in Owensboro is becoming a growing issue with us expanding. So.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody else? How are you?
Hello, good afternoon. Carrie Miller, 2113 Sunset Drive. I am also here as a member of the Sierra Club group, and I'm sure as you guys have seen, we have been collecting these postcards that are addressed to you, so would it be okay if I hand you the collected signatures?
Sure. Council will get those from you.
And to date, we have approximately around 1,000 signatures of Owensboro residents who share our concern for how we move forward with our energy production in Owensboro, and emphasizing that OMU does seriously consider and evaluate the potential to incorporate renewable energy in our community. I was able to be in Miami during the U.S. Conference of Mayors back in June, when over 100 mayors throughout the United States have signed on to transition, not just to incorporate renewable energy, but to transition to 100% renewable energy. And there are now, we stand at about 105 city mayors from small cities, medium-sized cities, and large cities who have signed on to this resolution to transition their communities to 100% renewable energy by 2035, if not sooner. And there are already several small communities in the United States that are 100% powered by renewable energy. So we really feel that it would be misguided at this time, at this period we're in our city, at this transitional point, that we don't seriously look into the benefits, health-wise, environmental, and economic benefits this could have for job creation in our community and how we go forward, and keeping that power within our community to potentially power our city independently of the market or other outside forces. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well done. Anybody else?
Hello, my name is Donnie Mayton, 5200 Lane Road. I happen to live in the county, but I also have my own solar array at my house. One thing you may consider is if you get a good net metering law, people will do their own solar arrays, which will be no cost to the city. And that's sometimes something that's very much overlooked. But a good net metering law that's long term will encourage people to do that for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Tim, you got anything for me? Abby? You don't want to tell about the house we did on Cravens? Yeah, I would. Sure.
Thank you, sir. Abby Shelton, Community Development Director. Recently, we cut a ribbon at 2604 Cravens Avenue, which utilized home funding mechanisms as well as neighborhood stabilization program funds to build a low-income, a house for a low-income family at the cost of $188,000. And the proceeds of which the sale did happen, it cost the homeowner $112,000. So it went to a young lady and her son. And so they will be celebrating Christmas in their new home with her family this year.
Thank you. Great deal. Appreciate you. Let's clap on that one. Okay. At this point, we'll go to item number 12, closed session. I will entertain a motion to consider a closed session under KRS 61.8101B to discuss acquisition or sale of property under KRS 61.8101G to discuss a specific proposal with representatives of a business entity.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Don't want to go into closed session? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Oh, did I do right?